Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is such a great facility. I think most of you remember when we were here 4 years ago. It's probably the best rose show room we've had in a very long time because of the light. So thank you for bringing your roses. Thank you for bringing your photographs, your arrangements, and yourselves. I may have to sit down because I've got a bad back, but I'm leaning on this and that helps. What was I going to say? There's no microphone. What? Carl, you should come up closer. There's a seat right here. I first want to thank Jolene and her crew, which I know is Dolores, which is, first stand up. The people that got this thing together in a very short time, please stand up. There we go. And most of you may know how difficult it is to put on a district conference, but when you have a very limited time and you have no budget, it's amazing what they came up with. And our two speakers were just outstanding, outstanding. And now I'd like at least two people I know are not from our district. Bob Martin and Donadina, please stand up. Donadina must have gone somewhere else, but welcome. Carol, you get to now do roll call.
Okay, I have all the societies signed in except I go over.
He wants you over here. So you get tape.
I can say that it's nice to have all the societies signed in with the exception of Stockton, and I did not hear from Stockton.
Lou, treasurer's report.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming and making this a success. And I want to personally apologize for the sound system in here. This is my church, and every time I've used that sound system, it's worked perfectly. It's louder than heck, but for some reason this weekend it did not want to work, so I apologize for that. And due to the good turnout, we will likely make a small profit on this event. Thank you very much. The delegates, I think, would have gotten the treasurer's report in the email, correct, Carol?
They what?
They would have gotten the treasurer's report in the email?
I did not send
yet.
that out.
Oh, not yet? Okay.
It goes out after this.
I'll send it out.
Okay, we're doing well this year. The main thing I want to talk about is that at our board meeting last month at Jolene's house, we decided to move our CD to a different bank. We were getting 0.1% on the CD, which is like $15 a year only. And now it's in a different bank, getting a 1.5%. So we'll make $22.50. We'll make about $200 versus $15 a year. So that's the main thing I have to talk about. We're in good shape. Any questions?
You should tell them how much money we have.
Oh, we have in our checking account as of September 18th, which includes some deposits for this event. Not all the bills have been paid. $16,700 in our checking account, and we transferred a flat $16,000 to the CD.
You're doing well.
The checking account will have a bigger deduction to pay for the big bill still is the dinner tonight, which we're getting at a really good rate, and a couple $100 for the lunch, which my family prepared. So it's not very much per head.
But it was excellent.
Well, thank you. Unless there's questions, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, I just came back from Gettysburg, and that was a national convention. I took some notes, and unfortunately, I didn't rewrite them, so they're kind of like helter-skelter. From Laura Seebach, the executive director, we've been very lucky because there is a lady by the name of Ann Harder who lives in Beaumont, Texas. Was that hit by the flood? Yes. Oh, I thought so. She gave a lot of money. She gave like $125,000 this year, so that helped ARS a lot. Did you know that Star Roses was just sold, and so was Cordy's, to Ball Industries or Ball whatever, Limited, I don't know. But both of those were sold, so kind of interesting. I don't think they're in the rose business, but they are now.
They're definitely in gardening business.
They're in what?
They're definitely in gardening business. They have huge florals and everything else.
Oh, okay. Everybody seemed to think that it was going to stay pretty much the same, that people were not going to be let go and all that. So the next ARS convention is in Jacksonville, Florida, which of course just had flooding. But I was told, sat down with people from Jacksonville, they're very excited in hosting it. They are extending the time that you get that special hotel rate 3 days before the event and 3 days after. So if you want to make a vacation out of it, you can do it at a reasonable rate. It is May 4th through 6th next year. And the one I'm most looking forward to is in October, when Bob Martin is going to be installed ARS president. October what, Bob? 26th to 29th. And all of us can drive there, and now with his wonderful hints on how to take roses, we can all take our roses too. That will be a great event. And San Diego, and the other thing, if any of you have had experience with being a part of the CCC auction, it used to always be in the fall, but down there near San Diego, it's going to be part of our convention. That's a great, great thing, Bob. We're doing very well with membership. John Cochran gave a most pleasing report. He came from the Boy Scouts, believe it or not, and I'll tell you, he knows how to raise money, and he knows how to be around people, and he's now getting the Boy Scouts involved with roses. So he's done a lot of different things than has happened before, like he has, all these online things and 4-month things, and that all converts into new members. So I like him a lot, and I think he's doing really, really well. I think we're doing better as income. Sometimes I didn't understand our treasurer's report, big deal thing, and I couldn't see. Now I have cataracts, so, even if they put something up there, it's all blurry. Everything's all blurry to me. We do not have our judge's chair here today. He had family things to do. But there are changes coming up with judges, mainly in terms of how the reporting gets done. And it's going to be a shall thing rather than or should thing rather than a shall. But they used to make all the responsibility on the apprentices. I think this is right. Anyway, it's good.
I have his report.
Oh, good. Did he report this? Mm-hmm. Oh, I assume he already got notice of it. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. They also talked about photography, and the group passed the national photography rules and, what's the other thing called? Rules and regulations? Whatever. Luckily, they passed that photographs are going to have to be 8x10s, because there are still a number of Rose Societies doing little ones, 5x7s and even smaller. And the other thing was that they passed a resolution. This was through Marilyn Wellen, who is a former president. Mr. McFarland, what was his first name? Horace. He is going to be crowned the father of the American Rose Society. He's been gone now a number of years, but they felt that he really needed that recognition, and so he will be known as the father of the American Rose Society. Okay, that's it for that. Now, I think some of you know that I am not running for district director, and district director person, you have to fill out a form and a history of your experience and send it into ARS. And I believe it has to be in there by January 30th. I will tell you, this is not the hardest job in the world. I have people on my board who work twice as hard as I do. So if anybody, what you need to have is a little bit of money, because you have to travel at least twice a year, and traveling is not fun anymore, and it is kind of expensive. So I am lucky in that the district does give me $1,000 back, but I probably spend close to $1,800 to $1,900 to travel just twice. And I also have some health issues, so it's probably best that I really like doing it. I really like meeting all these people and speaking to you and running around, but I think that I should not. At 75, it's time for me to stay home. Anyway, if anyone wants to know more about this position, please see me, and I will direct you to how you apply for it through ARS. But also, sorry?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we afford to offer that person a larger amount to reimburse them for traveling?
I would think so, since we have plenty of money. Right now, I get $1,000.
I would think that it would take them about 2,000.
Yeah, it would.
I would
Yeah.
May I,
Yes, yes,
may
yes.
I make a motion, please,
Sure. Rose?
that we increase the amount to reimburse the district director for $2,000 for their travel and expenses?
Okay. Per year.
second that.
Thank you. Who second? Dolores?
Who did the second, Dolores?
Dolores did.
Would you repeat the motion now, Joan?
The motion is that starting next year, the district director can apply to receive $2,000 in reimbursement with proper, showing. What am I saying? And this would start next year. All those in favor of the motion, wave your wands. Sorry? Oh, I didn't hear.
Can we specify per year?
Yes, I said per year.
But I think we need to specify.
Yeah, per year. Okay, so wands again? Okay. Any objections? No. Okay, thank you very much. So now, we will also have, even ARS has elections next year. They're always a triennial, so it's for 3 years. Bob will be president for 3 years. The vice president who will be elected, there's 2 people running, will be for 3 years. And so will our slate of officers. So we will have a nominating committee, and we need to have nominations now for 5 people, each of whom are from a different Rose Society. And you will be choosing who will run for Deputy District Director, Treasurer, Secretary, and Awards Chair. Currently, Betty is Awards Chair. She does not want to run again, correct? Okay. I haven't talked with Carol, and I haven't talked with Lou, and I haven't talked with Dolores, but the person who is in charge of this committee, she's not chairman of the committee unless the committee elects her to be, is Carol Burek, who is our parliamentarian. So I would like now to officially accept nominations for people to serve on this nominating committee, and I think you will meet very briefly, maybe after this meeting, with Carol. Do I hear any nominations? Yes?
Martine LaBelle.
Martine LaBelle. Very good. That's East Bay Rose Society. Again, we need 4 more. This isn't a difficult job. This is an important job, because what you need to do, and I find this is not done well enough in most societies, you need to tell anybody who's interested what the job description is. And from my standpoint, the board positions really can make a district director look good. And I expect my board to be at 2 meetings, well, 4 meetings a year, 2 board meetings and 2 business meetings. That's only 4 times a year you have to put in for. And I know there's more people. Yes?
Would it be possible to have those job descriptions written up?
Oh, they are.
Oh, they are. Oh.
They are. And I think they're probably on the website. All of them. What is not on there, I don't believe, are the chairmen, because we also have, the chairman is up to the district director to select. But these 4 people are voted in, and they will be voted in at our next business meeting, which will be in Reading on
March 10th.
March 10th. And so all of you will be voting in those people who have been nominated. Okay, did I hear another person? You don't have to do it. You can either nominate yourself or you can nominate somebody else. And I don't think it has to be from your Rose Society, but it should be, you should be an ARS member. I'll put it that way.
How about Cheryl Frechette?
How about Sheriff Frechette? What? She goes, she'd be great.
I know.
You're on the internet all the time. That's all it's going to take. Okay, Sheriff Frechette. That's 2. She's from, yes. Stand right in front of me.
There is no mic. Listen, John, shush. If you don't volunteer 5 people from 5 separate Rose Societies, you will not have a treasurer, a secretary, or a prizes and awards chair. So, somebody from each society better think it through. It is not a hard job. You're just going to come up with suggestions of people who would be willing to do this. Volunteer.
Or Jolene will appoint you.
Yeah, or I'll appoint you.
All right. Yes.
We need 3 more.
Hello, hello.
Jan?
Jan. And who did she nominate?
Herself.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, please don't be shy. You can nominate yourself. Heavens. Yes. We have 3. We only need 2 more.
2 more.
And you know, Lou is sitting here thumping his things because we have to be out of here by 4:30 so they can set up for dinner.
We're not going to have to travel to meetings. I think they've done
Jamie,
They're going to meet this afternoon, but then they're probably going to have some emails. Yes, Dolores.
I'd like to nominate Jamie Becker for the nominating committee.
Okay,
And she will accept.
okay.
That's 4. That's 4. Is that all we need?
we need another one.
One
Jamie, are you an ARS member?
I am an ARS member. Yes.
Thank you.
One more.
One more, people. You get to work with Carol. Come on, she's easy.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
Cindy who? How about Cindy Phipps? Huh? Good, Cindy Phipps. That's done by Carol. Linda. Okay, so the 5 nominated people to serve on the nominating committee with Carol Burek are
Martin Liddell,
Martine, yes,
Cheryl Frechette,
Cheryl Frechette,
Jan from Butte,
Jan from Butte,
Jamie Decker,
Jamie Decker.
Jan Burnham,
Is that 4 or 5?
and Cindy Phillips.
Oh, and Cindy Phillips.
Jamie Decker and Cindy Phillips.
And they're all from different Rose Societies, so that's very good. Okay. My mom.
Stick around and talk to Carol.
Yeah, a little bit afterwards. Have you seen this button? There's a few of us that have them. There you go. And her name is Diane, and her last name is Summers, Sommers. She's coming to our, I believe, March meeting, and she will talk to us directly. She is a fabulous gal. She has served for many, many different positions. Oh, good, Jolene brought these. You probably will see a pamphlet maybe on your table. Now, that election won't start probably until April. It's finished in July. And she will serve for 3 years. And she does have competition, but I am endorsing her. And if you saw me with Dr. Tommy, he's also endorsing her. So is Bob Martin. She's a fabulous gal from Wisconsin. So I'm just asking you to put this little button in your head and remember when we all get to vote online sometime next year.
Can you tell us who the competition is?
Yes, what's his name? Curtis. What's his last name? Huh? Yes, the Redneck Rosarian. As Tommy said, got that Redneck Rosarian? I don't think so. I mean, you know what redneck stands for. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't get his name. I just heard it.
I think it's Chris Van Cleef. Van Cleef. He's actually only been a member of the ARS since 2008, so that probably tells you something. Not too experienced with roses. Evidently, he comes from the garden section of gardening. All right, Carol, no. It's Jolene. It's time for you.
Yours?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, as most of you know, because I keep talking about it, we had 2 very successful CR schools this year. That counts for 10 new CRs.
Yay!
And the last time I spoke to you, I said, no more CR emeritus this year. Do not retire. Unfortunately, Judy Bonds wants to go emeritus, so we have an emeritus certificate for Judy Bonds. And someone from Humboldt,
Paula and Richard.
okay? I'll hand it back to you. Okay. Also, we have Master Rosarians. They had very good recommendations, no problems at all. So, from Santa Clara County Rose Society, Robin Rosenberg. Can someone pick this up from Santa Clara? Lynette. Okay, make sure you make a big fuss at a meeting. From Shasta Rose Society, someone named Carol Schmitz. From Redwood Empire Rose Society, Karen Ernsberger. Also from Redwood Empire Rose Society, Barbara Ellis. She was here earlier. She's probably wandered away. Okay. The CR program is moving right along. I do want to warn you, and I'm sure that Cher will also warn you, the website that handles Roses in Review and a lot of other stuff is down right now. So those of you who malingered are almost in trouble.
Not really.
Soon they're going to be in trouble. Almost in trouble. As soon as that website reopens, I'm sending out a blast to you, and I know ARS will be blasting you. That very day or night, you better start turning in electronic reports. If you can't wait, if you've only got a few roses, you can do a paper form and send it to me, because Cher said she'd quit if we gave her too many.
She lies.
She lies? Okay. She won't quit. You can send them to her too. But we will get them entered. She doesn't have much leeway after the deadline, but Don is going to, equivocate a bit. He's negotiating with the editor. You don't realize that the reason there's a deadline for us is all of the statistics have to be generated, and then it has to be formatted to go into the magazine, which has to go to the printer by this date, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. So be good. Do those Roses in Review. If you can't get online, I will accept paper. Do them, or you'll hear from me.
Okay. Next is Bob Parker with horticultural judges, and Bob can't be here today, so Carol's going to read his report.
Okay, so this is the Hort Judges Report. We have 62 judges, including 3 apprentice judges in our district, and all but 2 are current on points. A proposed change to the guidelines for judging roses was presented to and approved by the ARS board at the Gettysburg National Conference. It requires the evaluating judge of an apprentice judge to send copies of the report to the apprentice and district Hort Judges Chair, as well as ARS. Bob has been asking for years for the evaluating judges to send a copy to the apprentice. Now it is a requirement. To also send a copy to the district Hort Chair. This can all be done by email except the hard copy that is sent to ARS. So that should make it simpler. Bob would like to hold a judging school if we have candidates, 5 to 6 at a minimum, in the spring of 2018 before the shows start, which would be April. Nothing has been done so far. We need a venue, but Bob wants to make sure we will have candidates before putting a deposit down. Those interested should contact Bob soon. Bob Parker.
Okay. Next is another vote for today. How many of you voted on the change in challenge classes, our district challenge classes, some time ago? All right. How many did not? That are voting people today. And if you know about it, because I'll tell you about it if you don't know about it. Because I don't want you voting, not understanding what you're voting for or against. Last year, we met as a board and came up with the idea of changing not the challenge classes, but the vase that the roses went into. It used to be that almost all of the challenge classes had separate vases for each rose. Now there are a number that still have that, like the Ralph Moore and the J. Horace McFarland, but other ones were moved down to having one vase instead of, say, 3 vases. And that, I know I had it somewhere. Yeah. And that vote ended, and the reason it was voted in, there were 25 votes to change it, to having one vase instead of 2 or 3. There were 8 people against it. There was 1 abstention, and there were 4 that did not vote. And these were delegates from each society who voted. The main objection was, other than Jolene telling me recently that we what'd we say?
I said you dumbed it down.
Dumbed it down, right. That we dumbed it down, and all of those objections, everybody would have voted for it had it not had this vase change. So I told everybody at that time, I wrote back to each society or each voting member and said that it would be on the agenda for this meeting. So I want to know from any of you, this can be a discussion, short hopefully, but I'd like to know from you, and particularly any of you that entered roses in these challenge classes. Did you like it? Do you not like it? And do you want to vote on changing it back, or do you want to keep it the same? Lou?
I think it also didn't also include not just the vases, but the type of roses in a challenge class too. Right.
Oh, yes, and they did not object to that.
Okay.
Or no one did except Miss Jolene, in terms of, before it used to be
Pretty much hybrid teas.
mostly hybrid teas, and then we extended it to any red rose, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's true. So there were 2 things to it. Yes, Betty?
I think what Lou was saying is that the attempt.
We're recording this so people can hear it later on. The problem we have is, unless you go up the microphone, it's going to be,
Yeah.
it's a dead spot, we don't hear you, I cut it out.
Yeah, okay, Betty, come up here, and no, you can't. So anybody else that is going to speak, just line up on this side and you can take your turn in front of the camera.
So I think the original intent was we had these wonderful challenge classes, but no one had the roses to bring and exhibit. So opening up some of these classes to include other varieties other than the hybrid teas, since a lot of us are having shrubs and other roses in our garden, it was to try to get more participation. So I just want to emphasize what Lou said. It wasn't just vases. It was the whole purpose of revisiting this was to get more people to enter into our challenge classes.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak to this? All right, I need a motion either to leave it as it is or to change it back, or something different, if anyone is still awake.
Are you changing all of it back or only part of it?
It's up to you.
Beverly had an issue with just one of the trophies, right?
Beverly had issues with many things, and she's not
The
here.
email that she wrote about was one class where there was going to be a bunch of different varieties of roses in the same vase.
Yeah.
Right, but she had more than that too.
That was the only thing.
But she's not here, you're right, and she was a person that always entered these challenge classes. Yes?
Can we have a vote on each section? I mean, it sounds like a lot of people agree with changing the type of roses, but not the vases.
That's correct.
So
Yes.
do we have 2 different votes?
Sure. You want to make that motion?
I make a motion to have 2 votes instead of one. One for the type of roses and one for the vases that we put them in.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you,
Who
Michael.
seconded that?
Michael Brown. All right, so let's vote first on the roses that can, yes?
You have one motion, you can't have 2 votes on one motion.
Wait, what?
You have, we're talking about taking 2 votes, but you only have one motion.
You have one motion to take 2 votes.
Okay. There's going to be 2 motions. Is that okay with everyone?
fine.
Okay. The first motion is going to be on the type of roses, the classification, that's the correct thing. The classification of the roses. It used to be very specific, and many times it was hybrid teas. Now, most of the time, I think it says any red rose or any large red rose, except for a few. There still are the few that more, that do have, you know, have to have peace in the name, that's still that way. Yes, Rose?
May I make a motion?
You may.
This motion hasn't been,
But you have to withdraw a second and withdraw the first.
The one that she made, that this
No,
will be
there's-
2 votes?
There's a motion to make 2 motions.
Yes, I know.
We really don't need that.
No, you take it off.
Oh, okay.
So will whoever made that motion.
Right behind you.
Can we scratch that?
Eileen?
It's Eileen.
And the second motion
To make 2 separate ones.
two separate motions.
Because it needs to be addressed in 2 separate issues.
We are very by 2 different motions.
I recorded it as one motion to vote on the type of roses and a second motion to vote on the number of
But
roses.
You can't have two
she
motions
made-
on the floor.
No, you
She
have
made a motion to have 2 motions.
That's all.
Which we really don't need
Okay, then
because we
retract
can make the
retract
motions.
the 2 motion one and just have it as long as we agree.
So
we're
make
gonna
the
have two
first
separate-
motion.
No,
Okay, do
Retract
it.
that one.
retract.
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion.
Yes?
I make a motion, we keep the current type of roses that we have changed.
The former, the previous.
The present one.
Oh, the one that we used
The
today.
one that we're using now.
All right.
That it was changed to. Has nothing to do with the bottles.
Could you repeat it so everybody knows?
Yes. The motion that Rose just stated, and I would have to ask Michael if he supports this, because he was the supporter of the previous motion that fell by the wayside, is that we keep the classification of roses in the challenge classes as they were submitted today. Correct?
As it was changed to.
Yeah. Thank you. Michael seconded.
Then you need to take a vote on that.
Yeah, I want to know if there's any more discussion. Do you understand what it means if you're a voting person?
So it means that those classes with multiple roses can be several hybrid tea, floribunda, grandiflora, or whatever.
Exactly.
Shrub or whatever.
Exactly.
As long as it calls for roses, you can put any.
That's right. It's more color than it is class. Okay, are you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motions, wave your wands. Anybody opposed? God, even Jolene didn't oppose it. Okay, it passed.
You and your little dog too.
Do I what? What did she say?
You and your little dog, something.
All right, now we're going to vote on the second part of this, and that's the number of. Huh?
Someone needs to make.
I know that. I'm just telling them what's coming. I need someone to make a motion that reflects how you want the vases to be. If you want the vases they were today, and I didn't. Did anybody? Can anybody tell me that judged? Were there more entries today than in the past? Oh, no. Oh.
There were at least half the challenge, more challenge classes were filled.
Did all the no, there were not all of them, right? Yeah, the more in McFarland were not,
No,
no
but more
entries.
of the other challenge classes
Okay,
were filled.
there were more. That was our hope, was that we would get more. Okay, Rose, you ready to make another motion?
I make the motion that we go back to the original changes, to the the original way we did the bottles,
The vases.
the vases.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
Would you repeat that?
I will.
To go
1 minute.
back to the original,
Individual basis.
the individual bases.
Who's seconding this? Oh, Michael Braun again. Okay, discussion. The motion is that we will change back to the way the vases were described prior to this conference and rose show. So that means sometimes you will have 3 roses that go in 3 individual vases and have 3 separate entry tags. It's the entry tags that got me a number of years ago. Yes.
Discussion?
Yes.
One of the reasons I say we need to have the separate bases with separate tags. Here's what happened today. There was a beautiful exhibit of 3 balloons. The exhibitor chose to put them all in one vase, saves time. One tag, saves time. One of the stems was extremely short, and it was between the 2 other stems. The judges did not see that 3rd stem, and what they saw they thought was a spray and a 1 balloon per stem all in the same vase, which wouldn't make it as 3, okay? So if you have them in separate vases, and they're matching and they're beautiful, judges don't look at the stems. They know there's 1 stem in that bottle. They don't worry if it's long, short, or otherwise, and they're not worried about is it attached to something. So I recommend we go back to the individual basis if the original district class called for it that way. Some of them don't.
Okay, thank you. Anyone want to speak against the motion? Just so we're true to our democracy? All right, are you ready to vote? Okay, all those in favor of the motion going back to our original number of vases? Looks good. Okay, those opposed? It won again, unanimous. Thank you very much. Now, oh, Carol's back with Martin's report.
Well, I do have to tell you that if you send me the report after I leave home, this is what I have to do. Which Martin did, but at least he sent it. This is the arrangement judge report. Currently, the district has 11 judges, 2 of which are inactive. An arrangement school is tentatively scheduled for February 17, 2018, and February 18 at the Shepherd Garden and Art Center, McKinley Boulevard in Sacramento, hoping to finalize within the next month. All arrangers should consider attending the school. Please contact Martin with his email should you wish to audit the school or be interested in becoming an arrangement judge. 13 people attend an arrangement judge on September 17th at the Hall of Flowers in San Francisco. I'm talking to Mary Ann, she said that went very well. The workshop covered the following topics: materials required for a traditional arrangement, selection of appropriate flowers, plant material, and impact of color, review of principles of design, demonstration of traditional arrangement, hands-on experience of putting a design together, a question and answer session. Possible spring workshop being considered in the Peninsula or South Bay.
I was in attendance at the San Francisco arrangement workshop, and so was Dolores. And Dolores said today to someone, Martin is just the best teacher. And of course, she used to be arrangement chair herself. But Martin does do a fabulous job. Okay. Betty. And Betty's talking about photography.
So I'm very, very pleased with all the photographs you keep bringing, and the thing that's bringing most joy to me is that Pacific Southwest, which has always been the leader in photography, is now saying we bring in more entries than they do. And so that's great, great news. So I wanted to share that. The only thing holding back photography in our district is the transportation of the displays to all of our Rose Societies. So I cannot go on without thanking Jamie and Scott Becker, who drove from Sierra Foothills to San Rafael to here to drop them off. Thank you. And we have Richard Holtz from Marin Rose Society, who's going to gather them, bring them back. And we also have Jack and Rose. And Jack came up with a new design, smaller, more efficient, with less hooks. And so we are getting more and more display units available for these Rose Societies to use. So if you don't have the means, if you don't have the storage, you have lots of options now to gather and borrow people's display units. The next thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that the final version of the first edition of the Guidelines and Rules for Judging Rose Photography were approved by the ARS Board of Directors on September 7th. You remember they were out for trial. We did send them recommendations. They did take some of our recommendations, the committee did, which you'll see. And they are not yet posted on the website. However, I had an inside source, Susan Graham, my friend from Pacific Southwest, who shared a few things for you taking photographs moving forward. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, that's good. So the score card has changed. It's not big. They took 5 points from conformance and brought it to specific section. They kept composition at 15, technique at 15, distinction is to 15. They took 5 and put that in specific section. So that's how it's going. 5 conformance, 50 specific section, 15 composition, 15 technique, and 15 distinction. We have that change in writing that you've all been wondering about, the petals that go off the frame. All right, so it has been decided by the National Committee. No. One of the major changes in the section, she only gave me a few highlights, is that dropping petals, as they call them, off the frame or showing only a portion of the bloom is now penalized in an image entered under the Any Rose categories, okay? However, they go, don't get disappointed, because they totally encourage those in the creative and macro. So if you have one of those and you're like, yikes, but you know what it's telling us all to not try to get the fattest rose bloom right in the middle. Step back. Give the rose photography some breathing room. We've been all trying to get them as big and tight in there. So this is coming forward, so every photograph you're taking now, you will have a formal penalty if your petals touch the frame.
How about the leaves?
They don't care about leaves. However, you don't want to have a half of a bud either. Like if you're cropping and you have a half of a bud, that isn't going to help you either. Okay, so another change, in arrangement section, you must have the tag on the entry tag. The arranger needs to be credited or they will be severely penalized. And so please, when you take your pictures of these wonderful prize-winning arrangements, take a picture of the arrangement, take a picture of the tag. You need to give credit to that person, and it needs to be on the top of the entry tag. The garden, they changed this. A lot of people didn't like putting their name. This is weird. I'm going to put Betty's Garden, and I'm the exhibitor. Isn't this giving too much information? So they've taken that out. You don't have to put the name of a private garden. You must put a name of a public garden. Again, that's a penalty if you don't. They're opening up creative interpretation. Originally, it was more for how many layers of photo editing and stuff you could do, and now it's wide open. Anything goes in creative interpretation. They're trying to expand this. She recommends that we have more than one class in our division, that we have maybe 3 classes in creative, and that'll be up to us as a group. Oh, and here's another good thing, is on the American Rose Society website, under guidelines, rose.org, resources, PowerPoint, the committee, actually Susan Graham, has developed PowerPoints that talk about each of the sections you enter in with examples. So as an exhibitor, it's a great learning resource. If you're trying to give a program on rose photography, it's a great resource for you. So it's on the American Rose Society website. So as an exhibitor, you've got a lot of information with actual examples to make the points. So that's really good.
Is it on there now?
It is. That is up there now. Apparently, the guidelines are waiting to be edited to be posted on the American Rose Society website. They're not there yet. She gave me a preview of these because I said I was going to be giving a report, and what do I need to tell my photographers? And the petalage is a big one. So don't waste any more time. You know, make sure you have breathing room around your roses that you photograph. Otherwise, it'll be best for you to put them in creative or macro. And Jolene has asked that we give out our awards to our best judges. And here's another thing. If you take a photograph and like it, you're not finished. Use it as cards. So this is one I did, and so now instead of just saying, okay, I took that photograph, now it's becoming my note card. So keep your photographs going. And our best judges entry went to Dave Coop for a beautiful spray of Lida Rose. So Dave, is he here? Oh, here he is.
I'm actually here.
And Dave, your gift is a little cash to recoup your printing costs.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, any questions for photography?
Membership, Cindy Phelps.
As you probably know, the membership chair is the liaison between the district, the local societies, and ARS, and our mission is to improve the renewal and retention rate for ARS membership. I'll be working with John Corkin, is that how you say it? Who's the new membership director, his assistant, Mylin, and Carol Spears, who produces all the statistical reports. However, in the statistical report she produces, she does not list how many ARS members are in each society. So I think Carol had sent out an email a while back asking each society how many ARS members you have, and some of those I have, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten a chance to reach out to you, and then I'll be sending out another email asking the rest of you how many ARS members you have so that we can get an idea for the district. And, you know, there's obviously the new and renewal regular membership. There's also this e-membership, which is free, and then the trial membership. Some of this one society I know has actually purchased some memberships for their members. And, you know, I need to work with John to establish an effective communication strategy, and working with others as well. And currently we have 750 ARS members in our district and 10% of all ARS memberships nationwide. So I'll be reaching out to people who did the trial membership and their membership expired and they didn't renew, because we do have that information. But I would appreciate any feedback you have for how to improve membership, ideas, brainstorming, and that kind of thing going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, programs and speakers. Charlotte.
Hi, wake up everybody. This is short and sweet. Most of you, I hopefully have shared the directory with your program person. It has pretty much been pretty static the last few years as to who's in it. And so I've got some sheets of paper here. So when you turn in your little wands, pick up one or two or at least one, and give it to your program person in your district. And there's room to list maybe one or two people that have talked to your society that you really enjoyed and your membership enjoyed. I'd like to include that person if I can, so we can get some more sharing of really good speakers. So when you turn in your wands, pick it up.
It'll be right here.
Yes?
Are you going to also ask if you're willing to travel? Because
That is I'm asking for the contact information, and there's a comment section in there. That's the thing I'm gonna probably end up, if you know if this person is willing to travel, that's fine, put it down. But I'll probably verify with whatever name goes in the directory.
Thank you, Charlotte and
criterion is-
Cindy.
Criterion.
Yes, I know. Next is Linda and Ted with the criterion.
There probably really is no report unless you want to
Yes.
go to your motion.
Okay. So, to bring you up to date, the board discussed at the last board meeting changing subscriptions to the criterion. How many here get the criterion? Wow, that's a good percentage, because only about 10% of the district members get the criterion now. And it's a fabulous publication. We all agreed on that. So we now have an e-subscription, which Jolene punches out as soon as she gets it from Linda. And those of you who want a written one will have to wait a week to 10 days. But the e-one comes boom fast, and you can print it out at home or go to the library. And so at the last board meeting, we threw this around, and what the board decided was we wanted more of you to get the criterion subscription, and those of you who are currently paying for it would not have to do that anymore. We would bill your society. Just makes a lot of sense to me that right now the only fees I believe you pay to the district are $5 a year for the trophy upkeep, and we decided that we would ask $50 for each society, and it really doesn't matter if you have 5 members or 200. Each society would pay $50, and that would enable Jolene to give that to one person in your society. She's not going to do everybody, but she would give it to one person, maybe a membership chair or the person who sends out any announcements, and they in turn would send it to everybody. And so we are going to ask for that change to happen today if you want to make this as an amendment. I just think it's a fabulous way, and it's easy for a society to just write a check for $50 and give all of their members this great, great newsletter. So, yes, Jolene.
$50 contribution also include their trophy funds? Is it all in one?
No.
Well, I was not thinking of it that way. You mean it's just easier money-wise to think $50?
Yep.
I would assume we could do that.
$50 sounds dirt.
Hey, be quiet over here, Barbara.
$50 to me sounds cheap at twice the price. How about a sliding scale based on number of members?
No, we decided that it was it changes all the time, and Jolene would someone would have to connect with her on who's left or who's come in, or it just seems simple to do it this way.
So is it $50 for trophy and $50?
No. Together, one $50 check. And do you ever bill, who bills? Do you send a bill to each society saying their $50 thing, or does that Dave Coop? He does.
It goes to Lou, the treasurer.
I'm sorry.
It goes to Lou, the treasurer.
No, I know that, but do you send a bill to each society?
It comes up at the meeting, and they let you know if you're.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, someone could send a bill, that's not so difficult by an email. What?
Am I to understand that the $5 to the trophy fund will be eliminated that way? Yes. Is that included?
Yes, it will, there still will be $5 coming from every society going to Dave to go get those names put on, but you won't have to pay $5 extra. You just pay $50, you're gonna get the criterion and your awards.
So out of the $50, $5 will go
Yes.
to the trophy fund?
Yes. Yes, Michael.
Does doing this make more money for the society than they currently make from subscriptions individually?
Linda?
The district.
Oh, and by the way, anybody who wants to continue getting a written copy can. You will just be paying 25, Linda? $25 a year.
The hard copies are still $25 a year. So Michael is asking, is the district going to benefit from
Right.
this? Technically, yes, because it doesn't cost anything to send out the email subscriptions.
Right.
But how much are we making off of electronic subscriptions now?
We have 55 email subscriptions right now.
At $18 a piece?
No,
$10.
$10.
And how many, so we would make more money. We would make more money. Okay.
You're gonna cannibalize the paper subscriptions.
What?
Well, actually, right now we have 50, but I'm just going to be giving you 7 checks, and out of those 7 checks, 5 are for hard copies. So people still do that.
Yeah, people do. Jolene?
They won't drop. I mean, they eventually.
As an answer to Michael's question, what's this going to do for the district? If I can send the electronic copy to the membership chair in each local society, they can send it to all of their members. That means all of the members get the criteria, instead of only the member that paid $10 for an electronic, okay? The benefit to the district is the criterion gets scattered around more.
And if you want to pay $10 again, you can always send in your $10 to Lou. You know, that's a benefit. But yeah, you're going to get the criterion really for nothing, and your society will pay $50. But okay, Rose.
I have a question for Joan. Wouldn't it be easier to send it to the editor, because he sends out a bulletin to all the members anyway?
Rose wants to know, would it be easier if I just send it to the editor instead of the membership chair? I'll send it to anyone that the local society designates is going to distribute it. I don't care. I just put the email in a group mail and it goes. So whoever in that society is going to receive it will get the electronic copy. Okay.
Right. In our society, the editor has nothing to do with the distribution of the newsletter. Okay, is there any further discussion on this, or are you ready to vote? Wait, yes, in the back. What did he say?
We thought that is an option to pay for the
Lou can answer that.
No, the trophy fund is not optional, it's mandatory. And that is the biggest and stupidest accounting problem I have, $5.
It's true. And let me just tell you this. If you vote, we're just voting to say, you who are representing your Rose Society, you need your Rose Society to do this. So if you vote yes, then you have to go back to your Rose Society and get them to say yay or nay. There may be societies who don't want to do this. I can't imagine, but that's your society's decision. So we may have, out of the 25 societies, maybe we'll have 20 that want to do this. Yes, Jan?
Well, it's just clarification, is the society decides not to do it, you simply would not put the email with,
I didn't hear that, but,
I think so, I'm not going to do it.
oh, okay, all right. Okay, you ready to vote?
What are we voting on?
We are voting that there is a change in the criterion subscriptions. The hard copy, there is no change. That continues to be $25 a year, and you need to send your subscription to Linda or Ted. For the email subscription, it is $0 for you as an individual, but your Rose Society has to agree, and the amount is $50 a year for all of your members. And someone from your society has to be designated to receive Jolene's email, and then that person sends it out to everybody in their society. Are you all clear? Okay. All those in favor of this motion, please wave your wands. Okay. Anybody opposed? Wow, unanimous votes. Everything, great. Oh, Ron, what?
My president don't want that, so I gotta vote.
She doesn't? Oh. Well, you'll just have to argue with her. Next is Betty again on nominations and awards.
It's 4:15.
Yeah, it's where-
Okay, I'm going to make this really short. We are very fortunate to, the selection process for our 2017 District Silver Honor Medal is complete. We do have an honoree, but you're going to have to wait till the dinner tonight to find out. But again, I guess they've been really busy at the ARS because there was a huge change to the rules and regulations about this as well. So, there are changes to the eligibility requirements for the District Silver Silver Honor Medal for 2018, adopted by the Board of Directors in Winston-Salem. That was the original, were in 1973, and they were revised in Monrovia in spring of 2017. These are huge changes because sometimes we don't have anyone who wants to be on this committee because it's a 3-year commitment, but then before they could not be nominated for the award. The district director couldn't be honored for the award. The awards chair couldn't be honored for the award. And so, thank goodness, they've opened it up. So if you are in good standing with the ARS, if you have done service at the district level, remember, bronze medal goes to local. Silver goes to someone who works at the district level and ARS. And then we have a gold medal that goes to service at the ARS level. And it's a great committee. Please volunteer to take this on. The only reason I'm giving it up is because I'm photography chair, and it's too hard doing both. So it's a 2-year. If you become our Silver Honor, our awards, chair, you can do it for 2 3-year terms. Like, I'm eligible to do it for 1 more, but I'm passing it along. It's a great way to get involved with the district. Please, if our nominating committee says, you know, would you like to do this? It's the best job ever. You get to find out what all of you are doing, which is huge. The amount of contributions you all make to this district is phenomenal. And now anyone can get if you decide to be the committee rep from your Rose Society, you can still be nominated for it. So there's nothing holding you back now. It's a great change in my opinion. Yes?
Is this restriction changing on bronze medal then too?
I can't respond to bronze because this is only silver honor that I'm speaking to. So And part of this job kind of got better because I was able to nominate for the gold medal. And it's not a hard job. They give you the list of who's won it before. They tell you what it's all about. I was able to nominate someone for the Furstenberg Prize, which is a great thing that they give to the new best rose suited to American conditions. And new has to be within 10 years prior to the award. And this year it went to Dick Clark. And our honorees were Christian Bedard and Tom Caruth and Weeks. So how wonderful that we have such a great rose. And I'm really proud of this one because I nominated the right person, the right rose. The James Alexander Gamble Fragrance Medal went to one of my favorites, Firefighter. Yay! So this is a great job, and I do hope when your nominating committee calls you, it's a great way to get in, work with a board, and step up to the district level. So please say yes. It's a great job.
Thank you, thank you. Next is site development, and Thomas is not here, nor did he send a report. And then following that is Gail and Webmistress. She does a great job with our district website. Everything's up there. I mean, there's just tons and tons of information. She got sick, so she's not here. So now it's Dave Coop, trophies and awards.
Hello. Okay, district trophies. This was the first conference with the new rules for the district trophies. And when I started this project of changing the rules, I thought, oh, piece of cake. Everybody will love having it a little bit more open, and you can enter more than just hybrid teas. Well, little did I know that a lot of people took offense to that and said, well, wait a minute. These are trophies in honor of people, and they wanted hybrid teas, or they wanted this, and they wanted that. Well, as you can see out there, it's a beautiful display of district challenge classes. So thank you very much for those of you who entered that class, and I appreciate it. We may entertain further changes, but probably not during my watch.
Nor mine.
So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Ernie, Sue, you have anything? Okay.
Do I need to go up there? Can you hear me? Yeah.
No, you need to go on.
My report is short. The spring business meeting brought in $775. We're going for more tonight, and I just happen to have some more tickets. So come back to that table, and we will quickly go through the raffle as soon as the meeting is over.
Are they all today or something?
No, this is it. We're going to do one raffle now, so you don't have to wait around. You'll know what you've won.
Good. Okay. I expect to win, too.
Well, me too, but it doesn't happen.
I know. Share.
Okay, everyone probably knows it wasn't the greatest Roses in Review year so far. And we know that the system is still down as of today, but to explain to everyone, I'll go through a little chronology of what happened. It was doing fine until the 12th of September, and then it went down because the hosting provider that hosts that database did a software migration. That's the wording I got. I can assume that they moved the software to another server. And since then, the system has been unavailable except for minor crevices when people have told me they gotten in for a minute. But I never was able to. I could only register people, but I couldn't put in reviews. Okay, so about the time that the system stopped working, which was September 12th, we had only, because I have a couple screenshots, somewhere between 45 and 51 reporters had entered their reviews. And there, last I know, Jolene, in the criterion, you noted 141 CRs who have to do it. So I'm pretty much figuring there's like 100 people that still need to do it, right?
The linkerers.
Hence my, oh my God, I don't want to get 100 hard copy reports with 20 reviews each and have no time. So anyway, we are getting an extension because the deadline is Tuesday. The original deadline was Tuesday, the 26th. We're going to get an extension because the system's not even up yet. If you tried to get in this weird time frame, there was a message it still exists there, on the ARS website where you link to Roses in Review. Right under that box, it said the system was malfunctioning, okay? But they're trying to work on it. Okay, then unfortunately, last Sunday, Don Swanson, the head of Roses in Review, got a message from Marilee from the provider saying that the system is up. So he sent all of us CR coordinators a message. The system is up, and we're going to put a message, a mass email out to all the members and tell them it's ready and start putting in your reviews. Well, that happened Monday. Unfortunately, the system was not working. So now I have more emails coming to me asking, I think I'm doing something wrong. Is my review in? Can you check it? And it's really not functioning. So it was a big mess. And finally, the hosting provider put on the actual Roses in Review page last week, if you went there now with a PC, it would say, "We are undergoing database maintenance. Please try again later." Well, I've tried for the whole week multiple times, and it's not there. So there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people still have to do their reviews. And the latest news I got from Don Swanson at 11:37 this morning says, Marilee who is in charge of the database, Marilee is moving the Roses in Review database and changing service providers. So she's now wiped out the old one who couldn't fix it. We may be close to a solution. Cross your fingers. So, as soon as I get any message that the system is working and you can put in your reviews, I will immediately notify Jolene. She might probably get the message too. And then she would at least put out that message to the CRs, okay? Now, for people who aren't CRs, which aren't that many that do reviews, I'm not really quite sure how it gets to them best and if we should even address it this year. Because usually what I do is I send an email, or I have Carol send an email to the presidents and asking them to put it out to their group. And then I send another email to the newsletter editors and ask them to get it out to their group. So do you think I need to do that if Jolene is going to put it out to the CRs, who are the predominance of the group? No.
How would a non-CR know that the system is up?
By trying it.
By just trying it. Okay.
They probably don't even know that the system is down if they haven't tried it.
But at Marin, we have a person that sends out all emails.
Right.
So if you have someone like in your society,
We don't.
Let Cher know.
Yeah, if you have someone you want me to send a message to through that person, I will do it. But basically, we're concentrating on the CRs now because they have to do the Roses in Review. So, due to the outage, as I said, Don has said he's going to extend the date, not to worry. But he can't extend the date till he gets the system up and running. He hasn't said, I'm going to give you, once the system's up and running, another week, another 2 weeks.
30 days.
Yeah, but he has these deadlines also, right? Because once we get the reviews in, the bulk of the work comes back to the CR coordinators. We have to then consolidate comments and and make our reports up and get them back to him so he can get it in the magazine. And the lead time for the magazine is incredibly long. So I'll continue to hear from and communicate with Don and Mary Lee Williams and obtain status. And like I said, keep your fingers crossed. I don't know, to me that sounds like a big change that Mary Lee's moving to another service provider, moving the database, because she's got to test it. And I feel pretty secure that if there were any kind of a service provider, before they did their migration on the night of the 11th, they would have made a snapshot backup of the database. So anyone who did it, before then, like me, or other people who were early, would have their stuff there. But we're going to have to do some work checking things. So it's been kind of a stressful nightmare for me this season. And so we'll hope it gets better and that Mary Lee will have better success with a new provider.
Thanks, Sharon.
Question?
Yeah. I was one of the ones that got in last week somehow, having
In the cracks.
several days it didn't work, and then it did work, and I did it. Do you think they got that?
Well, see, I can't tell until I can get into the database. But one thing for me to tell everyone, and people don't know this sometimes, is that once you put in your reviews, that system is set up so you can log in and add more reviews or check your reviews, right? So all you do is you go into the system, but you don't register because you have, and you just say, review roses, and it will put up a screen that says, tell me the email address you registered with, and tell me your zip code. And it'll make a match, and it should bring up on the right-hand side, you did 5 reviews. And you can say print, and it'll show you what they are. So you can check yourself if those went in. I don't know in these little interim times where people squeaked in, but it wasn't really working, how those went in. So
So you let everybody else out.
yeah, so that's the story on Roses in Review. Hopefully Mary Lee has a better service provider. But the unfortunate thing for today was that same service provider and server houses Modern Roses 12, so that's not up either.
Okay, we're pressing for time because, sorry?
What we can do is get volunteers to move the stuff to the other hall, have the raffle in there.
Oh.
Set it up.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if we just wrap up the business meeting then.
Yeah, but we still need to have that. All right. Jolene, I'm going to put you on for the dinner to talk about the conference, to save time.
They're called on Rose right now.
Okay. I didn't know she was part of it.
She's going to do something.
Oh, yes, okay.
Just real quick, thank you all judges for bringing your entries. I know this is towards the end of the year, and we were appreciative of what you did bring. I have a judge's gift for the best judge's entry for Sunstruck Cheryl Frechette. Congratulations. It was a beautiful entry. Yes. This is your certificate, and this is your gift. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. District Directory, Richard is already getting stuff, so Jolene and I have to see. It comes from Russia and everywhere else. But can I have Eleanor Ackerman to come up at this time? And as some of you know, Eleanor is from Lodi Woodbridge, and she came up to me, at least 6 months ago and said, I think we'd like to have the 2018 conference. Yeah. Because for my reign, I guess, the district has done it twice, right? And it's really hard when you have such a short time. So here's Eleanor.
Well, thank you. It took a little while, but we finally, because I started out hoping that we could do this one.
Yes.
But my my society, it just simply wasn't ready. They had to think a while. So we have 10 really hard-working people, and they are working to put on what we hope will be a really nice show. It will be an open show. We'll have Lodi Woodbridge classes and the challenge classes. So it will be very similar to the district show this year. It's going to be called Blooms and Vines.
Oh, Blooms and Vines.
Blooms and Vines. It will be October 6th in Lodi, of course.
What day, sorry?
Pardon me?
What day?
October 6th, Saturday the 6th.
Is it a one day?
Well, we intended it that way, but there's still a small discussion because we always have a really nice, big fundraiser dinner.
Right.
And the issue is, should the district awards ceremony be with that dinner, or should we do a breakfast awards ceremony? And so that's something that hasn't yet been
And the
discussed.
meeting could go with the breakfast right afterwards.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
The conference.
The
yeah,
conference
our-
meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Our business meeting.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
makes it really easier.
Okay, so we'll talk about that and the coordination of that. The reason that we call this Blooms and Vines is because, as some of you know, Lodi is known for its grapes. So one of the things that we are hoping to line up is some maps and a little bit of information on our many, many wineries. We have over 80 wineries in Lodi now. And some of them have some pretty nice wines. So the show will be held at the festival grounds, where we've always held our show, and we've secured the Jackson Hall, which is next door, so that we can have the show in Chardonnay and the meetings and the meals and everything in Jackson Hall. So it should work. But there are only 10 of us right now, so so we're looking forward to it.
And Eleanor, your society can ask other people in the district to help you with certain things. You don't have to be alone. You can ask for help.
You'll hear from us.
And I've been told, I've never attended, but I've been told this is always one of the best rose shows in our district. And it includes a fabulous dinner with wine. And I've even been told that sometimes as a judge you get wine before you judge with lunch. So this is part of their wine festival. Okay. We need to get out of this room. I will announce that the spring business meeting is in Shasta, with Shasta in Reading, and it's March 10th. I'm sure you will see that date. Okay. Carol wants to say something.
And I do want to say something about that, talking to several people, it's like, Reading. Okay, so what I did, and I would like when you bring up your flags, each person for your society or two, there's enough. Take one of these bags. It has maps, lodging accommodations. I got our local nursery to give you a coupon for 10% off, and Betty and Joan and everybody loves to shop there.
We do.
So grab one of these and you'll learn a little bit more about Reading, including our fabulous trail system.
Okay. All right, so now Lou has made the suggestion that this raffle be moved over to the Rose Room.